Okay, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. What's up, everybody? How's it going? It's Edwin back again for Strictly Comics. And yes, I'm in my brand new studio, my kitchen. The things we try to do to get the most high quality video, audio, everything. Just the things that we will do, it's just crazy. You guys, I'm coming at you now with 4 comic book reviews this week, and I really hope you guys enjoy it. Also, just a quick reminder, like I had said before, tune in for my video that I'm going to upload tomorrow sometime. Not really sure when, hopefully as soon as possible, where I'm going to be disclosing some information that the comic industry right now is doing to the community. As I did more research, I found out that it wasn't like a big deal to some people's minds, but it's something that was kind of surfaced and made aware to me just recently. It's a big deal to me, especially as high and as expensive as comic books are right now. It's something that if I was able to, I wouldn't tolerate it, but I don't think that it would really do a whole lot to the industry. Anyways, I'm rambling. Stay tuned for that because I do want to talk about that. And I really sincerely want everybody else's opinions on what they think about the situation. So stay tuned for that. Right now, let's get into some comic book reviews because we kind of have a lot of ground to cover. I got 4 of what I think are the hottest issues that are out this week. The first one is Superior Carnage number 2, you guys. It is written by Kevin Shinick and art by Stephen Segovia. All right, here's the breakdown. Carnage has been captured by the Wizard and the Claw. He's being apprehended somewhere in a secret location in New York City. The Wizard continues his attempts to control the mind of the symbiote after he learns that he can't do it by controlling Cletus Cassidy's mind because he's been lobotomized. We do get some character development of the Wizard in this issue. We find out that there were some accidents gone wrong with his son Bentley. Also, that the Wizard at times experiences delusions from the accident that he had between him and his son. So his mind calculations and intentions are actually questioned among his co-workers, I guess you could call them. After 4 attempts to try and control the Carnage symbiote, the Wizard tries to find out what it is that he's doing wrong. So he seeks out a mind that he can control. And whose mind does he seek out? He actually seeks out Dr. Malice, who is there with him during these experiments on Cletus Cassidy. Dr. Malice is just blown away. He can't believe it. He realizes that there's little that he can do. He's quickly detained against his own will, and the Wizard begins a blood transfusion between Dr. Malice and Cletus Cassidy of the alien symbiote because, as we know, it flows to the bloodstream of its host. And in the end of this book, you see the process taking effect rather quickly on Dr. Malice. Okay, you guys, conclusion. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to say exactly what happens at the end here, but it's a very, very good book. It's just blowing me away what they're doing with this Carnage symbiote and how they just kind of transfer it to another host. And we're starting to see that a lot in the Marvel Universe with the host. I think in a way it's an attempt just to keep the interest of the readers because as we reviewed in my previous videos, Venom is nowhere near as popular as he was when he first came into play in the early 90s. So to transfer the symbiote to different hosts, it just intrigues people and it just keeps them interested in what they're currently reading. It's a really good issue. I definitely recommend it, especially for Carnage and Symbiote and Venom fans. Not just that, but Carnage's popularity is really kind of just, it's been stabilized as the years have gone by. I definitely recommend this book. I think that I'm going to give it a solid 4 out of 5, you guys. One of the things that I did want to make note of is that next issue actually isn't going to come out until sometime in mid-December. So it's like 5 weeks away, you guys. So definitely be aware of that. Okay, you guys. Next we are covering the Superior Spider-Man number 15, written by Dan Slott and art by Humberto Ramos. All right, breakdown. So in this book, we see that Hobgoblin is still alive and basically seeking to stay away from Spider-Man. Hobgoblin has to continue paying fees to the original Hobgoblin so that Phil Urich, who is the younger Hobgoblin, can continue to take on the name and appearance as the current Hobgoblin. There's a lot of Hobgoblins say that many times in a row. This seems as though it's pretty expensive to maintain the rights of a supervillain. I don't know, you guys really need to tell me. So Urich seeks to pay his dues to the original Hobgoblin, and he's like robbing banks, armored trucks, and causing all kinds of ruckus around the NYC. Dr. Ock can't understand how he's been getting away with so much crime without his spider bots being detecting it. So Doc Ock is now constantly aware of the fact that some maintenance needs to be done with his spider bot. Also, you guys, in this book we see Officer Cooper and Captain Watanabe growing even more suspicious of Spider-Man's actions as they continue to be more and more out of the ordinary. So Officer Cooper comes up with a plan to find out what he's doing, what he's up to, and follow the money that he's spending to fund his own projects and operations. The Green Goblin appears again in this issue, you guys, and he's aware of the fact that Spider-Man will soon take notice of his hack job that he did on his spider bots. So he decides to actually lay low for a little while. He says that he's going to shut down the program. He wants to see how the Hobgoblin does with Spider-Man. I think that the Green Goblin might be up to something pretty big, you guys, in upcoming issues, but we'll have to wait and see. Conclusion. Okay, not going to spoil it, as always. This book is turning out to be very, very good. As we know, Dan Slott is a really good writer, and he hasn't upset us as of late, other than the whole Amazing 700 issue, which I know a lot of Amazing fans were just furious about and just absolutely hated, yours truly included. I think it's worth picking up. $3.99, comes out every 2 weeks. Pick it up, you guys. As far as a rating on this book, not really sure. I want to say like a 3.5 to a 4. It wasn't like the greatest issue because it was just kind of just a little bit of talking. I will say it was good because you see Officer Cooper wanting to investigate even further this new Spider-Man. I did not record this, but I said when Amazing 700 came out that it was going to be Officer Cooper that was going to play a role in exposing Dr. Octopus and who he really is, and perhaps starting the change of tide and bringing back Peter Parker and the Amazing Spider-Man. I said that in the beginning when it came out like 7 months ago, and I'm going to stand by what I said, and we're going to see if Officer Cooper actually plays a role in the events of Peter Parker actually coming back. We'll see. You guys let me know. I'm going to say that I give this a solid 4 out of 5, you guys. It's definitely worth reading, definitely worth picking up. Superior Spider-Man has not really disappointed, as I said before, as of recently. Alright, you guys, right now we have all new X-Men number 15, written by Brian Michael Bendis and art by David Lafuente. Alright, here's the breakdown. After I burp. Sorry. Okay, so I'll say right off the bat that this story is simply a filler issue. I absolutely love the humor that Bendis puts in his books. It starts out with Rachel Summers returning from a long trip, not 100% sure from where, because I didn't read issues 6 through 10, so maybe that's when she took off and now she's returning. Anyway, she and Jean bump into each other in the hall while Jean is coming out of the bathroom. They take notice of each other and try to use their powers to tap into each other's mind and are unsuccessful, and they can't really figure out why. Rachel brushes it off and she just walks off, headed toward her room because she's really tired. She's like, I'm going to go to my room. I don't care what y'all are doing. I'm sleeping till next week. We see Scott writing a love letter to Jean, and he isn't writing exactly what he wants to say to her. So he balls up the note and just tosses it, which, as we see, may end up being a mistake. Beast and Jean are training in the garage with Wolverine's motorcycle and end up needing to fix it because she takes it apart with her mind, but gets disturbed by Bobby and Scott, the younger versions, and it ends up falling apart, and they can't figure out how to put it back together. So now they have to put it back together manually, which I thought was really funny. Meanwhile, Jean and Beast, while they're trying to fix it, she ends up reading Hank's mind by mistake, and she finds out that he used to have a crush on Jean when they were younger, the actual current younger X-Men that are now in the current universe. They end up kissing each other. Jean confronts Hank to find out whether or not this is true. It turns out to be so. They kiss, so I guess this comic isn't entirely deceiving from its cover, which totally fooled the crap out of me because I thought that it would have been. I think that Jean has a moment when she comes to herself, though, towards the end, because she ends up finding the future wedding invitation of her and Scott Summers. As I said, you guys, it's a filler issue. It's a good issue, but it's only a 3.5 rating in my opinion. I think it's actually worth skipping. I don't think it's worth buying for $3.99 and picking up. If you think that you can come to yourself to skip this issue, I recommend you do so, and then maybe see what happens. And number 16, I think, is the next one that comes out. Okay, you guys. Finally, we have our final comic book review of the week. And it is Avengers number 17, which is the final prelude to Infinity, written by Jonathan Hickman and Nick Spencer, art by Stefano Caselli, Marco Rudy, and Marco Checchetto. I don't know how you get like 3 artists on one book. All right, here's a breakdown. The story starts out with Superia and a team of scientists trying to communicate to the creature that hatched out of the cocoon from previous issues. It kind of reminds me of The Day the Earth Stood Still, that movie, probably more of the 40s and 50s version, the black and white version from back in the day, because he just like stands around. He doesn't speak, he doesn't move, he doesn't do anything. They end up capturing and containing the alien creature for further research. Because of their previous fight with the Giants, the Avengers are lying unconsciously. So the scientist team begins to do experiments on them while they can, but they don't get too far with that because Manifold actually shows up. Manifold shows up and finds the Avengers being experimented on by Superia and her team, so he takes immediate action and goes to rescue them. He starts teleporting each person one by one, including Superia, sending them off to like any random destination, which I found to be really funny. He's like, I don't care where they go, bloop, 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 which I found to be actually really, really awesome because he takes on a no-nonsense type of attitude towards his opponents, which is what a lot of comic book superheroes need to do nowadays. I find that this story continues to build towards the Infinity story arc. One of the building parts that is clearly obvious within this comic book is the team. The Avengers mentioned in the beginning of this title that they needed to get bigger. Well, with instructions by Captain Universe, the team does get bigger. In fact, in an attempt to get bigger, they even reach out to Ex Nihilo and Abyss, which I found to be kind of ballsy and at the same time desperate. But nonetheless, they get what they wanted, and Ex Nihilo and Abyss join the Avengers. But how long is that going to last? I don't know. Okay. In the end, we see the narrator talking about the present Avengers in the past tense, which implies that the Avengers will not succeed and will end up falling in the upcoming Infinity storyline. Don't really know what that means, so we'll have to read the story arc to find out what is going to happen. You guys, I think that this is going to be a pretty big story arc. I'm actually anticipating it to be better than the Trinity War because there's a more serious tone to Marvel Comics right now, and DC tries to implement a serious tone, but maybe not so much. We'll see. The Trinity storyline has actually kind of dipped down just a little bit, but we'll see what happens. I can't really determine a conclusion on how I feel about comparing both these story arcs until each one has come to a complete finish. As far as a rating for this comic book, I want to say I give it a solid 4 out of 5. I thought it was pretty good. Serious tone, building up, loved Manifold and what he was doing. Let me know what you guys think. Hit me up down below. Thank you so much for tuning in for these comic book reviews. I hope you enjoy them as I enjoy doing them. Don't forget to share these videos, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. More importantly, everybody, keep God first in your life. Enjoy your comic books, though, and God bless you guys. I'm out of here.